Hi everyone. I just wanted to come on here to share with you something I did this morning with my boys. I know a lot of parents out there probably needs like a little help in some ways. Just like I'm not going to be one of those parents that says I don't need help, because there is times where I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world am I going to do with these kids? And they feel to feel overwhelmed as a parent. So I was going to tell y'all what I did today. Today I prayed this morning like I always do. Well, I'm trying to. I'm not gonna say always, because I always there ain't there's. I'm not gonna try to put it that I always pray, because there's sometimes when I get up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm late, so I end up racing and I forget my prayer. So I can't just say there and say I always pray in the morning, because then that would be lying, and I'm not a liar. So, but I do want to share, after I got through praying this morning, that the Lord came to me and told me to do this for my sons, because everybody already should know that they're in trouble and they go to an alternative school. And sometimes they don't get work from the school, or they finish their work from the school early, which, because of the fact that they're not having to um, go to class and all that kind of stuff, they're actually being able to sit there and do their work, which I love the fact that they are doing their work and they are getting somewhere with it. But I don't like the fact that they're in there. But anyway, sometimes they end up like falling asleep and all, and I respect all the things that they already have for the kids that end up doing that. But I wanted to put, because sometimes whenever kids, they end up going back. Like, this is my one of my son's second time to be in there, so they end up going back, and it's not their fault. It's just that they make wrong choices. Everybody makes wrong choices, but to get them to really look and see why they are doing the things that they do, or getting them to start opening up their brains to know, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. Or, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. Trying to get into their inner side where the bad conscience is telling you, let's go do this. You know what I mean? So I told them to do this today, and I don't know if people are probably going to be all like, no, we don't need to do that, and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do it because, it helped a little bit with me. Because I do suffer a little bit on depression because of all the stuff that I'm going through and all. But you know, I myself, I go to a therapist, and she's helped me in places, and I also listen to spiritual and godly stuff. And I listen to preachers and stuff on YouTube and everything, and and it makes me start thinking, and then I start going to the Bible. So this is how I ended up getting this to give to my kids. I told them today, instead of falling asleep or trying to fall asleep or whatever, if they have time, to get a sheet of paper, space it out, and write down 1 through 7. And I told them, think about 3 things that you want to be when you grow up. And I told them to write them down. Write them down in the threes. And then the rest of the numbers that they didn't, but it has to be 7. And the rest of the numbers that they didn't put down, because I told them to pick only 3 things to be, to think of things that they want in the future, like to succeed or accomplish or whatever, set at least the rest of the numbers to put down something that they want, or need, or they want to see to succeed. Because whenever the reason why I got this was because the 7 came from this preacher that preaches that I listen to on Facebook, but the things that I'm thinking of, what I told them to do is the reason why I thought this was because, um, you know, whenever I was reading the Bible, it was saying the about the threes. So that's the reason why I told them to write down three things. Because I used to be like, write down two things, and then, two things you want to be. But then I was like, hey, wait a minute. Something always happens. Like, look at me for a change. Something happened to me where I picked being a certified nurse's aide, and now I can't even go back to that because I picked one thing to be, and I stayed doing that instead of, going back into school and, educating myself and getting a different career. That way, if something happens, I will be backed up, which I didn't do. So that's the reason why I told my kids in the beginning to do two things. But then I started thinking, I'm like, man, what happened if the other one falls out? And let's say, okay, let's use me as for an example that I told my kids. I said, I had one thing that I went, well, actually, I did two things because I was a waitress. But it's hard for me to use my arm now, so that was my two things that I can't even do now because of the fact that I can't go waitress because it's involved in lifting. I can't be a CNA because it's involved in lifting, and my back's messed up, and my arm, I'm fixing to go into surgery. Tomorrow's my surgery, so I'm fixing to go into surgery for my arm. So I can't do those two things. So that's the reason why that led me, not only that the Bible led me to the three, that's where I got led to the three, which God led me there to show my kids, look, even though you had those two things that you love doing, you can't do them. Something happened, like me, something happened to me, and now I can't do what I was set off to do, and I can't even go back to college or anything because I didn't finish my education, which I know there's a long story into that, not finishing my education. But there's times where I have to put my big girl panties on and say, it's still my fault. I shouldn't have got involved. I should have been more, on the go of getting my education instead of thinking of other stuff that I shouldn't have been thinking at my younger age. And that's where I feel like I need to be somebody and that's where my purpose comes in, that I feel that is reaching me in there. And the reason why I got this purpose too was because of the fact that I've been reading my Bible, and I started from the beginning of the Bible. Like, my grandpa told me, they said to start in the beginning of the Bible, and you'll start figuring out your purpose. And to me, I feel like my purpose is that so far that because I've been reading it, and it feels something kept pushing me to it, and it feels like I have to be the mom, like a mom, the mom of all, so that way I can be able to help teach children around that is having struggling, like my kids are. They're having you think my kids are angels? No, they have their times and they have their struggles, and that's where I feel I have to push myself into studying the Bible more, and to studying myself more, and now it makes me feel like maybe that's the reason why God ended up where I ended up hurt and not being able to, go to work, because I was so focused on working and helping others, I didn't even think about helping myself and looking around me, like my family. I didn't think about that, and maybe that's the reason why God opened me up and stuff and started, you need to calm down. Money is always going to be there. Yeah, we're going to struggle, but we will get through it. That's the way that I think. But I told my kids to do that, and I had told them, I said, do y'all have those cubable things? Because I ain't gonna lie, I got in trouble when I was young, and I ended up in one of those schools, so I know how it is. So I asked them, I said, do y'all have those cube things? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, when you get done writing your paper, I said, if you don't get to finish it, don't be rushing or anything. I want you to sit there and really think. You have all this time, you could sit there and think of those 7 things. And whenever you get it, raise your hand and ask for a little piece of tape or something if they let you have that. And see if you could tape it up there on your cube thingamajigger. That way, every day, you feel the temptation to fall asleep, or you feel the temptation to, do something bad, or, get loud when you're not supposed to, then you can sit there and look at that paper and pray about it and say, God, this is where I need your help to stay focused into these promises that you promised me. And I know for kids it's going to be kind of hard to do with them, but I think my kids will do it. It's just the fact that getting people out there to try it with their own kids, because I'm not saying it's going to help right away, and I'm not trying to say it's going to be a miracle thing. I'm not trying to say, oh, your child will become perfect. I'm not trying to say that or anything. And if you don't believe in God or whatever, I'm not trying to push you in there. I'm just saying what I'm doing with my child. And if you want to try it, then try it. Try to do it. Maybe all they need is a little help and maybe a little ear and stuff. That's the only thing that I'm trying to say. But that's all. And I wanted to push this in here. I know y'all probably like, I don't want to see that, but I don't care, because I'm going to show y'all this. This stuff is delicious, people, and I really recommend y'all getting the almond milk and putting this. And this really did help me yesterday, because I really wanted a snack. And my son was sitting next to me, and he was snacking up a storm. He had his chips, and he had his chicken. I mean, he was snacking up a storm, and he had already ate. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go over there and eat that too. Because, you see your kids eating it and you think it's all right, but as we get older, it's not all right to eat those stuff, because our body ends up storing all the fatties, and then that's the reason why we get blown up. But this stuff, this is just kind of like the coffee, the keto coffee. It helps burn off your fat and stuff, and it makes you feel full. That way you don't snack. And this really did help me. I just want to let y'all know it did help. And I really recommend you to use almond milk. Or like I used yesterday was 1%, because I don't have almond milk right now, which I need to go get it, because I need to do these whenever I'm wanting snacks. Or actually, I was going to drink it for breakfast. That way I don't, that was going to be my breakfast this morning, but I don't have no milk, and I really recommend you to use milk. The water, it didn't give it that much flavor. It knocked out the flavor. So, but if you put it with milk, I think it would be definitely better. And use low fat milk or almond milk, or if you don't have any available and you have the 1%, I think that would be all right. I'll have to do my research on that though. But that's all I wanted to come on here for, and to encourage y'all to stay open with your children. And if they are, because I do have 2 children that are very quiet and they will not speak out, and I don't care if you try all the world, they will not talk to you. And even the therapist told me that. So that I'm still trying to work on that, and I could probably get I can probably get recommendation too by y'all if y'all want to throw some comments down and see if anybody has a child that is very quiet. What? Where's your? It's over there. He likes the attention. But just throw y'all's recommendations if y'all have any kids that are, quiet and you can't get them to open up. Maybe y'all have a thing where y'all could share and be open about it. But anyway, that's it. I gotta go take a shower because I gotta go do my stuff that I gotta go do. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.